Harikotosti, Harikotosti, Harikotosti. In Dilema Harikotosti, Perikana Sikaranta, Korapna seeking God. God seeks man in all the ways that man did not know. For man went wayward in his own way, didn't find God's way, couldn't find a way to know how it is. That he exists as God and God exists as he is. And so the mystery of God was not known to man because man did not know how it is that he can represent God or God can be represented in him. And so man was always in the dark of the things he was not given to know. And he wasn't given to know it because he didn't keep faith with your Father, Mother, God. And so the whole world was lost in the darkness man found himself in, and the way in which the children were lost in a world they did not understand. In all the earth, God placed many custodians of God. And God instructed all custodians of God that in any part of the world where man lives as his land, that it must always give to man in the land that which is to be received from God. And so the custodians of earth represent the gods of earth known not to men. And they cannot know these gods because we were not given to give them to know these gods. The children came, and because they were gods, they were given custodianship of the earth and all that there is on the earth. And when the children violated the trust of God and did not keep faith with your God, they were no longer able to be custodians of all of earth. And so God appointed the gods that represent the way of the Mother, Father, God, and placed them in every part of the earth where man dwells. And so wherever man dwells in his own land, he dwells not knowing that he is under the supervision of a God that represents that which is of your Mother, Father, God. And it is these gods that direct the affairs of men in the lands in which they live. It is these gods that give man the way to know what language he speaks, what customs he have, what traditions he must hold. And none of these things were ever known to mankind because man walked not in the faith of the Lord thy God and could not have known these things. Unto you have we given these sacred and inviolable truths of the God that was not known to mankind. For every way that man walked not in the way of the Lord thy God, but in the wayward ways of men, they were never able to discern the truth, and the truth was not received by man. In the construction of man in the way in which he is designed, your God placed everything that is of the great and mighty wisdom of God within man. And it is hidden within man because God knew that in every way man cannot see inside himself. He cannot know that which is hidden within him. And in all the ways he came to see and to know what is within him, he still did not understand what any of those things in him represent. And he didn't know these things because he did not wait for God to teach him how to know himself. Knowing yourself gives you a great and a wonderful idea of understanding the context in which God exists as the all, because everything that exists in you that is of you is all that is of you. And when man would have come to understand these things, he would have come to recognize that had he known himself, he would have known the way that the all in all exists, and he exists as the all in all, and the all in all exists as he is. These are things that have not been given to be known to man. They were known by the children of your God, but the children of your God did not keep faith with your God and did not remember the things that we taught them. In saying unto them, you are the tree of knowledge and you are the book of life, you're saying you are all that there is. Everything that exists exists in you. Every knowledge that can ever exist exists in you. Because everything that is known comes from you. And when the children of God were able to demonstrate that they had powers to do many things, they also demonstrated that every power that is known and unknown lies within mankind. And so these things were always the way in which God said unto man, know thyself, know thyself. For when you come to know yourself, you come to know that there is nothing that you couldn't do because you are like God and because God is like you. And when you would have come to know these things, you would have come to know that you had the same omnipotent powers that God has because God is you and you are God. How else could you exist except God exists as you and you exist as God? And all these things were given to alert man to the fact that he walks as God in the form of man, but because he knows not how God exists as he exists, he cannot walk the way as God would walk. And so these things were always the way in which man went believing that God works in mysterious ways. There is no mystery to God except the mysteries that you created for yourselves. Every man came and wanted to interpret the world in the way in which he saw the world instead of interpreting the world in the way in which he saw himself. And unless you come to this recognition that you are what the world is and the world is what you are, you're never going to be able to discern the truth. And the truth was not known because man did not listen. In all of man's journeys to this world, he always looked outside of himself. And the more he looked outside of himself, the further he looked away from himself. And when you do not know yourself, you cannot know that which exists in the world, because the world is a replica of you. As a matter of fact, you are a replica of the world. And when you would have come to know these things, you would have come to know that you exist as the world exists and the world exists as you. And for this reason, man would have known that everywhere that he would go on earth, he would treat the earth as he would treat himself. Because everywhere that he would want the best for himself, he would want the best for the earth. And the earth would say the same thing to man. As you have given to me, so what I give back to you. In all the journeys man took here, there was nothing but wars and wars and wars and conflicts, disasters and catastrophes, ailments and illnesses and sicknesses and impediments, because man brought it forth from himself and did not know that whatever he would give to the earth would return it back to him. Because that is the principle that God told man. Whatever you do, it will return to you. As you have done to others, it will be done to you. And none of these things seem to have made any sense to man because man did not take them seriously. Because everywhere God said to man, the safest way to live is to love one another and do good. And man did not keep this oath that was made before your mother God and your father God, that we will love one another and we will do good for each other. The children of your God went everywhere on earth, and they saw everything that was shown to them. And we gave them that in every way they would have seen these things and known these things, they would have known that everywhere of the world is an extension of themselves. So it doesn't matter where you go, everywhere is like you. And when you could come to understand that everywhere is like you, wherever you go, you would do the same thing. You would do unto it as you would have it do unto you. And so the many precepts of your God were not fully understood by mankind because man did not wait for a God to teach man how to know the wisdom of God and how to interpret the sayings of God so that man would come to the true knowledge of God and he would come to the true meaning of the things that God had given unto men. To follow the wayward ways is to follow everything that man has done, everything that man has given on this earth, all the things that God told man, you went the wrong way, you went the wrong way, you went the wrong way. For there was no man given to rule any man, there was no man given to divide this earth up and to tell anyone where he should go and what he should do, because nothing belongs to anyone. And in all the ways that the many went, God showed them what they did. They brought nothing but destruction and disaster and destruction upon mankind. And when the children of God did not know that when they would have followed the wayward ways of the tribes of earth, that they too would end up suffering, they did not know that none of these things that they do and continue to do will ever bring any goodness and love from God to them, because these are not the ways of the divinities. And so the children of God walks always in this world, never knowing who they are, never knowing where they came from, and never knowing what purpose they came to serve on earth. But all these things were lost to them. And when it was lost to them, they were like wandering tribes on the earth. And so God shows them that wherever they dwell on earth, they are always divided against themselves. And when the people are divided against themselves, they can never become one in the wholeness of that which is given unto them. And so everywhere God shows them that they are, God shows them that they are the downtrodden on earth. You are downtrodden, God says unto them, because you kept not the sacred precepts of God. You continued to follow the wayward ways of men, and you didn't take time to know yourself. And when the children did not take time to know themselves, they could not find the God that is within them. We have said unto you over and over again that the heart of God is within the heart of man. And everywhere that man has a beating heart, he has a beating God within himself. It reminds him that everywhere that he is in a beating heart, he is alive in the world, and everywhere he's alive in the world, he is alive in God. None of these things made any sense to men, because no man understood what he was shown. For in the rhythm of God you exist. Without the rhythm of God, you cease to exist. And until man has come to understand the way in which everything placed within him works in the divine order that is given within him, he will never come to understand the way in which the world works in the divine order of God. We have said to you in all the ways that you speak, and you say to the children of God, leave the earth alone. For the earth is mightier than you, the earth is greater than you, but the earth is all that you have. And wherever the children are, they went looking beneath the earth for the things that God did not give them to take from the earth. For whatever they take from within the earth, they're taking from within themselves. And so whenever they say there's a curse because of what man done, what God is saying to them, it is this law of reciprocity that has returned to you. Whatever you've done to the earth will do to you. Whatever you destroy on the earth will destroy that part of it inside of you. And every man goes around saying there's an increasing this and an increasing that. And God said, well, look around you and ask yourself, how is it that it has become this way? Why is it that it is this way? Because everything that man does is all the ways that God keeps warning man, you are sowing what you will reap. And every man reaps what he sows, and all the things that he has done, in all the ways he has gone. So the children of God must know that everywhere that they invite many to their lands to say that they go beneath the earth to take out, God said, chase them out, get them out from among you. For that which is of you is that which they destroy, and destroying that which is of you of the earth. And the children of God did not know these things, and God told them, that is why God said unto you, God gave no man to rule over you. Because in every way that you came as gods, you were able as gods to know the things that you should know, to do the things that you ought to do. And so these ways are the ways of the Father God and the Mother God that have not been known to the world. And we say unto you, as you say always unto the children of God, come out from among them and let them come out from among you. For the only way you can become whole again and heal again is to be able to reconcile back with that which is the divinity of the earth in which you live. For all things are the way that the earth is. And everywhere the earth is everywhere, and the earth gives man everything that he needs, the earth is his mother and his father. And these things we give unto you, that in all the ways that you preach and teach and send forth that which is of the gospel of truth from us to you, from you to the children, so will the children come to the true realization that nothing that they are doing today and nothing that they have ever done was any of the ways that God has given to them. God shows them everything else in this world does not the things that man does, and yet it lives. It lives. We sent no man to work for any man. We sent no man to toil for any man. We sent no man to own anything. We sent no man to sell anything. And we sent no man to profit or buy anything. For everything came to man freely, as it is given inside of man. For every vital organ of man inside of man is given freely to man. And that is all that he needed. So that in coming to the recognition that he has that which is vital of God in him, he would know that he also has God with him. And when he has God within him, he does not need for anything, because God told everybody, you can make anything possible if you believe in the God that is within you. And so in all the ways that this world is today, in all the many ways that man suffers on earth, it is the way that God had warned man the time will come when all that which he would be doing and had done will be returned to him. And when it returns to him, it will be a burden that he will never be able to bear. And God showed all men what happened when the burden was too heavy for man. He couldn't bear it any longer. And every man exited, showing everyone the cross on which he was crucified. Giving you the things of the Father God and the things of the Mother God are giving you the ways that are great and almighty. And you must let all the children of God know that in all the ways that they came forth because of your Mother God. And all those that are an image of your Mother God say unto them, you are your mother's child. And when you knew not the powers that are of your Mother God within you, you subjugated yourself to everyone else, because you did not know the powers that lie within you. For all the daughters of your Mother God have come forth into this world with powers greater than any power of anything else, including men. And when they did not know the powers that they had within them, they did not know that in all the ways that they subordinated themselves to everyone else, that they were not able to be the way your Mother God is. For every man went saying, Father God, Father God, Father God, Father God, Father God, Father God, Father God. And every man said, God made this, the Father, and God the Father made that. And no man remembered that it is your Mother God that is the chief creator of all things. And every way it is demonstrated to everyone in the world, it was given to show man that the world exists and everything exists because of a mother that existed before it. For every child that comes from a mother knows that the mother existed before the child came forth into being. And these things were always the lessons of your Mother God that were not known to mankind and not known to the children. And the children knew these things, but they also knew that they worked in togetherness to ensure that things came to light. And so we teach you the things that you are given to speak, teach, and preach, so that in all the ways that the true consciousness of God is awakened in all the children of God. The children of God will come to recognize that in every way that they lived on earth, they were misled on earth. In every way they were misled, they were deceived. In every way they were deceived, they bought into the falsehoods of everything that was given to them. They must abandon the ways that they have been given. Every institution, every sect that they have joined led them further and further away from the true knowledge of themselves, the true knowledge of God, and not God in themselves. And so they must return back to the ways that we have given unto them. They must follow the things we give you to say to them, so that in all the ways that they will return back to being gods again and goddesses again, they will come back to being the way that they were, the true Israelites on earth. Yalamari koros barikinisi arakorokoru urukmin isigan arakambaru, o korikinisi karaknubokorinisi karandanda, and the book of life is them. The book of life is the children of God.